Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, we're going to do a drone comparison today, a mini drone comparison. So I have the DJI Mini SE and the DJI Mini 2. We're going to take them both out over the Snake River Canyon and see how they do. So I had my initial idea here was to compare these two with the Hubsan Zeno Mini Pro. Couldn't even get the Zeno Mini Pro up in the air very long, kept having disconnections with it, so don't know what's up with that, but you know, we'll go with the gold standard DJI, and you know, I guess when we're comparing these two, in fact, we'll just talk about it when we get up in the air, but there are some differences to be made aware of, and of course, you probably want the Mini 2, but there's a lot of people that the Mini SE is plenty drone, so plenty of drone for their needs. So anyway, let's quit messing around. Let's take the Mini SE up in the air first, and we'll shoot in 2.7K 30 and get some good looks at the canyon here. Oh, by the way, it is a sunny day today, a lot of smoke in the air, moderate winds. I think it said 7 miles an hour or 13 mile an hour gusts, something like that. I think the wind has picked up just a little bit, but both of these drones have level 5 wind resistance, so we'll do just fine. And there is going to be some smoke, so we might not get as good of views as we otherwise would, but we're going to fly them anyway. All right, give me just a sec. Okay, so I see I'm getting low on battery on my GoPro, so hopefully it'll make it this whole flight with the SE, and then we'll change batteries in that. Yeah, I mean, we're fired up here. I charged this battery, I don't know, several days ago, so it's down to 91%. But that's okay, that's plenty for what we need. And look, we got good FPV, we're in P mode. Let's go ahead and it's 2.7K 30 frames per second. Let's start recording. Well, hang on, let's look at the safety menu real quick. Before we do that, I always do that. 50 meter return to home is good. IMU is normal, compass is normal. How refreshing is that? Battery, there again, 4.24 volts, looking good. So no reason not to take off. We're gonna hit record right now. So we're recording, and let's go ahead and take off. And there's that little DJI drone, you know, it's just hanging there like it was hanging from a string. Let's bring it up just a little bit, turn it around here, and we'll bring it into the camera. And the cool thing about a DJI drone is you can bring it in close like this without too much issue. So rock it back and forth a little bit. You guys have seen that before. Let's quit messing around, and you see my notes there on my camera, so I remember everything. Let's do our manual droney right now. So reverse and up. Drop that gimbal down a little. Sorry, I should have had that done already. We'll get up about 25 meters and then just keep that reverse stick on. And boy, you can see the grandeur of the canyon. You can see where my Tahoe is parked there. Yeah, this is just such a cool place to fly. Enough to put you in a good mood. Okay, I'm going to have to kind of face away from the drone here a little bit because got to get my mobile device in the shade here. It's starting to heat up. I always do a screen recording, and that affects the brightness of your screen. And in fact, I heard Billy Kyle talking about that the other day, that he was saying that he needed to come up with a new solution because he's had a lot of problems with his iPhone heating up and dimming the screen, and that's exactly what I'm seeing right here. But I've flown this canyon enough, and there's no real obstacles here, so I can certainly see where we're going. So that's the main thing, right? But we'll try and keep it in the shade. But anyway, so with regard to the Mini SE, 1 2/3 sensor on this camera, and 12 megapixel, and it shoots in 2.7K 30 frames per second. The bit rate is probably something that you know, some professionals would probably quibble with, because it is 40 megabits per second. I know that 100 megabits per second is kind of the golden number that a lot of people shoot it for. Now, that new Hubsan Zeno Mini Pro claims a 200 megabit bit rate, but you know, it won't even fly, so no point in that, or at least my first flight, I couldn't get it to fly. So took off for a second and then lost connection and landed. So in any case, we're out here a ways, and this guy is just enhanced Wi-Fi, is what DJI calls it. And you know, as you can see, we got a really good connection. I mean, I don't see any issues at all. Boy, this canyon is beautiful, but you guys, you can see the smoke. And we'll head the same way with the Mini 2, and with the Mini 2, we'll shoot in 4K 30, and we'll see if we can see any difference in the camera quality or in the video quality. Man, I'm telling you, this is a beautiful river. Although it's kind of low right now. Now, let's see, how fast are we going? We're in normal mode at about 8 meters per second, so that's roughly 18 miles an hour. Let's throw it in sport mode and see what happens here. So I'm coming to a stop, going into sport mode. So we're in sport mode now, and I'm going to go full stick forward. And let's see, this direction, we are heading into the wind right now. So the drone is going into the wind, and almost 13 meters per second. 13, yeah, a little over now. So that's about 28 miles an hour. That's pretty good for a little drone like this. And again, like I said, it does have level 5 wind resistance. So yeah, let's turn it around and bring it back the other way. Yeah, I just got a little weak signal there. We're at about 1.5 kilometers and got just a little bit of a weak signal notification there. Again, this is enhanced Wi-Fi, and let me tell you, that's as far as I need to go with a little drone like this. That's just what I'm going to say about that. I don't know exactly why you would want to go much further than 1.5 kilometers with a little mini drone like this. So again, you know, I'm trying to face towards the drone. I was faced away from it too, by the way, because I was trying to shade my mobile device, my iPhone. But we're heading straight back on the same track and about the same speed, and it should have the wind at its back right now. Although the wind, I've noticed, at least where I'm standing here, is kind of calmed down. So what are we at? We're at 66% battery. So we'll get it back here and see if we can't do an overflight. What else can I tell you about this guy? I got my notes taped to my camera here. Interestingly, DJI is claiming the speed on this drone at 13 meters per second, and we're a little bit over that right now. 13.3, and my screen's starting to brighten up here, so that's good. Yeah, and I'm getting weak signal again, and I'm facing right towards the drone. So that is about 28 miles an hour. That is a lot of speed, you know, on a little drone like this. So I would say that that's perfectly acceptable. And I'm adjusting our heading here. I'm going to try and do an overflight right over the top of us, and we'll see if we can drop that gimbal down as it comes over the top, and then maybe go a little ways down the other direction up the river and come back, adjust that heading a little bit. Got those crosshairs roughly on the Tahoe, and that little drone is screaming right at us here. Believe it or not, I can hear that guy pretty good. And there we are. You can see me standing there. Let's just kind of look over the edge of the canyon here. If that doesn't give you the willies, I don't know what will. Okay, let's pick up that camera again and let's head out over the canyon. And, you know, I guess we got in the sun, my screen dimmed. It brightened up there for a little bit and then it went dim again. Yeah, the other direction over the canyon here, and this is kind of pointing to where you see me fly from quite a bit. Dedication Point is off there in the distance, and then even further in the distance there is the Swan Falls Dam. But we're not going to go that far, certainly. We're down to about 52% battery, so we're in good shape. Although I will say the drone will have has the wind at its back right now, and it'll come back against the wind, so we're not going to mess around too much. But the other thing I've noticed with this guy is even in sport mode, I don't know what DJI did, but you know, it's fine. And I'm faced directly away from the drone, and I got a little bit of weak signal. I was trying to shade the mobile device, so I turned around and we got that going back. So we'll get out about one click, and then we'll turn around and we'll bring this guy home. Okay, there is 1 kilometer, and I know some people say that it's for emergency use only, but I'm going to hit return to home on the app, and we're going to go return to home, and let's see how this guy does. And of course, what I forgot about is that notorious beeping that we get with a DJI drone. So gosh, I wish they would give us a way to disable that. I'm going to see if I can turn. Yeah, I turned the volume all the way down on my phone and you still get the same beep, so not much I can do about that. Well, you know what? For that very reason, we are going to stop return to home, and we're just going to fly this baby back. Baby back, I said baby back. Yeah, I mean, DJI, help us out. We don't need the thing to beep all the way back. It just doesn't need to happen. Can you give us a way to defeat that? I understand a few beeps when you first put it into return to home, but gee whiz. So we're in sport mode again, right about 13 meters per second. And coming right on back to us. Again, I apologize for all that beeping. That's me adjusting the heading there, getting it pointed. It's kind of easy to just point it right directly back at my truck there. This drone is just a pleasure to fly. I mean, DJI controls are just so precise. And I'm dropping the gimbal down as we get closer here. And I'm banking a little bit. Slowing her down. Let's go ahead and put it into cine mode, so we can we're going slower here. And there's the side of the canyon. I'm going to turn around and get my my camera in the shade here so I can see what the heck I'm doing, and let's just bring it down. And it's coming down at about 1 meter per second. I don't know if that's any faster if you put it in one of the other modes, but I'm moving it over here towards seeing if I can get that target right on the landing pad. We're pretty darn close. Down to about 15 meters. As soon as we get it close, we'll make those final adjustments. Okay, and yeah, that looks pretty darn good. That's about as close as we're going to get, I think. So I'm going to, but in fact, let's just put it into landing mode. I'm going to hit the and land. And it should pick up the camera as it comes down here, and it did. And there we are, right on the pad. Yeah, let's see if you, yeah, you saw that on the GoPro, so that's good. Okie dokie, I'm going to shut this one down, and I'm going to get the Mini 2 up in the air. Going to try and fly a similar pattern, and yeah, give me just a sec. Yeah, you heard that. It just found GPS. Takeoff is permitted. This is the DJI Mini 2. This time we just flew the Mini SE, and right before that we attempted to fly the Hubsan Zeno Mini Pro. It's so refreshing to fire up a DJI drone and everything just comes on and everything works. No having to tell your phone to trust this computer, no jumping through hoops. It just works. That's the advantage to DJI. Let's go ahead and look at that safety menu real quick. Yeah, 50 meters on our return to home altitude. That's great. You can see they have that max altitude. It's set just below legal. That keeps me from going over. Now, if I was in a mountainous area, I might set it up higher to make sure you could get over the top of a mountain, but we're not here, so it's not a problem. And my phone is already dimming, but my compass is normal. My IMU is normal. Let's take a look at the battery real quick. 4.25 and 4.23, that's good. So it's always good to get in the habit of checking all those things before you take off. We're shooting in 4K 30, so we'll be able to compare that with the 2.7K 30 that we had with the Mini SE. So let's go ahead and start recording now. And boy, is this screen getting dim fast. And I can't remember if I'm doing a screen recording, so we better double check that. I believe that I did. No, I didn't, so I'm starting a screen recording now. And that's interesting that my screen is still dimming even without the screen recorder going. So, okay, we're back in the app and looking good, and we're recording. So let's quit messing around. Let's get this thing in the air. Okay, we're going to hit takeoff on the app here, do an auto takeoff. And there again, just what you'd expect from DJI, it just takes off and hangs there. Let's turn it around here. And you can see this guy, my Mini 2 has always done that. See it bucking a little bit, and it takes it just a second and it calms down. But it always does that when I first fire it up. And I assume that's the IMU warming up. So in any case, let's rock it back and forth. And you can see there it looks really good. Yeah, nothing to do now, but let's drop that camera down a little bit and let's do our manual droney. Point it out over the canyon, reverse and up. And you know, I can tell the difference between this and the Mini SE. This thing definitely has more power, no question about it. Now I know there's speculation that the SE has the same motors and the same ESCs. I'm not exactly sure because this is definitely, or it could be just how they set it up, because this is definitely more powerful. Let me pick that gimbal up. And boy, I'll tell you what, my screen is dimming. Yeah, my screen is just about black here, but we're in good shape. Let's see if I can turn it around. I can see a boat down there. And this isn't what we did with the other drone, and boy, my screen is just all but black at this point. And like I said, I heard Billy Kyle talk about that. So yeah, I overshot it just a little bit, but we should be able to see that boat coming down there. I think like I said, I'm struggling so much to see my screen. Have I even got it in frame? I can't even tell you. Looks like we do. So that is very likely a jet boat. But in any case, and it looks like he's right at the shore there, so I'm going to turn around and go the other way, like we did with the other drone. And guys, I can't even tell you if I had that boat in there. My screen is so dim at this point. And you know, that's a big argument for the smart controller for sure. So, you know, you guys will know before I did. I may have missed that boat altogether. So let's head this direction, downriver. And I don't know, we can talk about, let's see, how fast are we going here? We're at about 10 meters per second in normal mode. And that's one of the things. I'm looking on the specs that DJI publishes on their website. So a couple things to keep in mind. I think in sport mode we had the SE up to about 13 meters per second. This guy, and that is in fact the top speed on the Mini SEs, 13 meters per second. DJI says this one will go 16 meters per second. So let's throw it into sport mode and let's just see. And I do that on the controller on this guy. So full stick forward. And boy, I can hear the drone. It's just, it's right next to me here. And yeah, it's going to get up there, 15.8, 15.9, there's 16. So it's definitely faster than the SE. No question about it. You know, I wasn't thinking. I have a sun hood for this drone, and I didn't put it on there. I should have, because I can tell you my screen is just darn near completely dark. But I can see well enough to know that we're over the top of the river. Let's adjust our heading a little bit. And we went out about 1.5 kilometers with the SE, so I'm sure that we can get that without any problem on this guy. This has got OcuSync 2 on this drone. You know, guys, I'm going to let the drone hover there for a second, and I'm going to see if I can snap my sun hood on here. Okay, I'll edit out the time that I spent doing that, but that definitely helps somewhat here. So let's turn around, and this is about as far as we went with the Mini 2, or excuse me, the Mini SE. Let's just turn it around and bring it back towards us, and we'll do an overflight, just like we did with the SE. And yeah, I believe it or not, had a little breakup on FPV there for a second, although telemetry was good. And so there, as soon as I hit, you saw at that speed, it definitely dipped the gimbal, because gimbal pitch shift, that's called. Thank you to John Coopy for giving me that terminology. But what the reason for that is because the drone is pitched so far forward, the camera has to look down a little bit so that it's not looking up at the nose of the drone. And DJI does a good job of that. You know, as you've seen on the FEMI drone, that camera would move all around when you put it into sport mode. And mine in particular went completely nuts. And a lot of guys say not even in sport mode. So anyway, yeah, we're at about... So what's odd about this is about 15 meters per second, which is, it should have the wind kind of more at its back now, or kind of at a little bit of an angle, but it definitely a little bit different there. And boy, that drone is coming fast. I'm looking at it up there, and it is flat tilted forward. And anyway, let's, as we come, let me see if I can adjust our vector. Ooh, that was a little bit much. Well, I messed that up. Sorry about that. And again, there I saw, you know, I was in sport mode there, and I had just a little bit of stutter on FPV, which is on DJI-like. Okay, now I'm corrected. And let's drop that gimbal down as we go over. There we are. And then we'll pick it back up here. That drone is moving. Let's point it back out towards the canyon here. Well, I didn't mean to turn that fast, but in any case, let's go up the canyon here a ways. I kind of wanted to show you some of the edge of the canyon, but heck, what are we doing? Let's put it in normal mode here so we can get. One thing that I'm going to tell you with the mini drone, the DJI Mini drone, is that you definitely, if you want good cinematic video, you're going to do it in normal mode, because as you saw in that sport mode, you do get that gimbal pitching down a little bit. And in normal mode, it's not going to do that because the drone just is not going to tilt that far forward. And I wonder, you know, thinking about the Mini SE, I wonder if that is the difference on the Mini SE. I wonder if it, in fact, it just doesn't pitch over as far. I wonder if that's the difference in the speed between the two drones, or if there's an actual difference in the motors and the ESCs. Couldn't tell you. We'll let guys like Rick Smith answer that one for us. But you guys will get a good look at the video quality here between the two. And when we do our conclusion, I'll put that side by side. I'll try and match up the video, and we'll put them side by side up there. One thing about this guy is I don't necessarily have to face the drone. Yeah, and it's going into low battery return to home, so let's just let it do that. And we're out there not quite a kilometer. So it knew that it was far enough away from home that it wanted to come home. Let's see, let me stop that, because that again is annoying, and we'll just fly it back here. So one of the things that I can also show you is digital zoom that you get on this drone that you don't get on the Mini SE. And I did that with the scroll wheel. And then this guy over the SE, it has enhanced quick shots. It'll shoot panos. And of course it does have a better connection with the OcuSync 2 connection, and you've seen that. I don't know how far it could have gone. I'm sure it would have gone a lot farther than we flew it just now. So as we get closer here, we'll drop that gimbal down, and we're right at about 10 meters per second, which they say that's top speed in normal mode. Yeah, and it wants us to come home, so we're doing it. This is going to be a Mike DiCurcio type return to home here. So we're about 300 meters out, and it starts that at about 20%. So trust me, we got plenty of battery here. It really isn't a problem. Again, I wish there was a way to stop that beeping. And let me drop the gimbal as we get closer here. I didn't happen to notice how much, what our battery was when we started there. Okay, I'm going to put it in cine mode here, get it slowed down, and let's get that gimbal pointed straight down. Boy, I'll tell you what, I wish I could see this. My problem is I can't see this, the screen here. So let's see if we can get it over the top of the pad. There we are. And let's pull it down. Let's put it into landing mode. and it'll pick up that camera, and it's pretty close. It's going to be just a little bit off of the pad. It's got, you know, 2 legs off and 2 legs on, so close enough. So we still had 6% battery there, so you know, that's not as close as what you see a lot of guys do. Let's stop recording. And I hope I remembered to do that on the Mini SE. If not, there is a way to correct that. Okay, let me get everything shut down and we'll do a quick conclusion. Hey, okay, it is about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and the sun is just almost directly above me here. So it's a warm day. I mean, it's not that hot of a day, but when the sun's beating right down on you, it's still warm. There is a little bit of a breeze, and I can tell you this, when you're out in the boondocks like this, there's so many flies and they'll drive you nuts. So the little DJI Mini SE, or in my case, we call this the Johnny Mini SE, and because Johnny said that he would sell you a mini drone, and so I named mine the Johnny Mini SE, Johnny Drone Flyer. This one's for you, Johnny. And then the DJI Mini 2. Just phenomenal drones. So, you know, pretty darn similar. What we proved here today is that the Mini 2 is definitely faster than the Mini SE, even though we've been told that they have, or it's been speculated that they have the same motors and the same ESCs. My theory is that it's probably all in the tuning, and the Mini 2 will just pitch further over than the SE, although even in vertical flight, this guy is significantly faster when you hit the upstick on it. So that said, 2.7K and 4K, both of them 30 frames per second. You guys are looking at the video right now. I will put them side by side up above there. And you guys can kind of compare them. Now, I struggled a little bit because I was in direct sunlight. My iPhone heated up, and boy, particularly when I was flying the Mini 2, it got so dark it was tough to see. I put my sunshade on there. That helped, but it was still awful dark. You know, there's got to be some kind of a solution for that, some kind of a cooling system for your phone or something. Let's think about that. But the two drones, DJI just knows how to build a drone. I mean, they are so smooth, they fly so well, they give you so much confidence in the air. I guess what it comes down to is how much money you have to spend and how much drone do you really need. My argument would be, for a lot of people, for $299, this Mini SE is all the drone they need. You can saw, we had it out. You could see, pardon me, we had it out 1.5 kilometers, and it was just fine. I don't know how much further it would gone, but I don't see much point in flying it any further than that, although we did get a good look at the canyon there, and it flew just fine. 2.7K videos, if you're posting to YouTube and so forth, boy, that's going to look pretty good. Now, on the other hand, if you want more advanced features, you want to take some panoramas, you want to fly a little bit faster, and you want that 4K 30, then definitely the Mini 2 is the one for you. Plus, this guy has zoom too, which we demonstrated, which can be, it's kind of fun to be able to zoom in on some things once in a while. And then I should also say, this guy also comes with the more advanced controller, and I'll tell you why that controller is probably important, is because it's bigger, has a bigger battery. You are never going to have to worry about your phone discharging with that thing. Now, a lot of people say that could be the reason that your phone heats up, right? Is because it's trying to charge at the same time. That may very well be true. I can't say for certain, but it definitely heated up on us when we were flying, that's for sure. Both of them great drones, depends on your price point. Now, I'm also going to answer the 800-pound gorilla in the room. I did have the Hubsan Xeno Mini Pro with me today. My intention was to do my first flight. Then I had a second battery, and I was going to include it in this comparison. I just couldn't even get it to fly. I got it to take off and hover once, and then it disconnected. I was having problems with disconnections. It disconnected, and then it landed, and it landed in the dirt, and yeah, just not good. So, you know, that's disappointing. I guess what I'm going to tell you is, if you want a drone, if you're looking to buy a drone that actually works, a mini drone, it's going to be one of these DJI drones, the Mini SE or the Mini 2, and we went over the differences between them just now, or the major differences between them. With regard to like the Fimi Mini and that Hubsan Zeno Mini Pro, I'm just going to tell you, hold off on those, and maybe they'll work the bugs out on them. The biggest disappointment with me on that Hubsan Zeno is I paid more for it than I paid for this top-of-the-line DJI mini drone, and I had to jump through so many hoops. I spent a long time yesterday doing all the calibrations and updates on it. Got out here in the field with it, had to do some more updates, and I still couldn't get it off the ground. So yeah, what a disappointment. But that's not what this video is about. It's about these two. So you saw the difference between the Mini SE and the Mini 2. The choice is yours. I can recommend both of them. This little Mini SE is really going to own the lower end of the market. I'm just telling you, it's at $299. I just don't know why you'd buy some of those lesser drones that are around $250. Just pay up a little bit and get this guy, and you won't be disappointed, and you'll have a rock solid product. So anyway, that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I really appreciate you taking the time to look at this video. And of course, we'll see you on the next one. See you guys later. Bye now. Hey guys, I've got this selfie stick in hand with the GoPro mounted on it. So I thought maybe I'd show you right where I was standing on the side of the rim. I've shown this before, but I don't know about this exact same spot. So we're just going to look over with the GoPro here. And this is a little nerve-wracking. I am not a big fan of heights, but I'm going to extend this guy out a little bit. Hopefully we won't lose anything off the GoPro here. I've got my Hollyland wireless mic, but I'll get a little bit closer, and I'm holding this out with the selfie stick so you can see over the edge there, and you can see some people camping down there, and this is the side of the canyon. I mean, let me tell you, one wrong step and it would be your last. This is really cool. Pretty interesting to see. That right down there is the end of the road that you can drive on, and then you can walk on a trail further down. So I'll kind of look the other way here. And you know, I'm a couple feet from the edge, but I'm still nervous, man. I'm telling you, not afraid to tell you, you wouldn't want to take a wrong step. But boy, the river looks beautiful. Yeah, you kind of wonder when you can stand on the edge here, do you really need a drone? Of course you do, I'm just kidding. All right, that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford out. I hope you enjoyed that. Bye now.